but they have to be open to that. Um, they have to believe that it's going to happen. They have to believe. You have to believe. Even if you were doing if you were fighting cancer, you can't win unless you believe. You have to believe. And if you're trying and you just think belief ain't enough, but you do believe somebody could help you, and you're being called to that person, and you're seeing videos, and you believe, and you feel like this guy can do it, dude, that's hello, that's the telephone ringing. This is the guy.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Veil. I am Alan, and this is the Bones. What's up, BoneZee?
We're here. We're live.
We're live.
Still alive.
Oh man, we need to figure out how to go live on YouTube through here, because that would just make life easier.
Yeah. With Zoom? Yeah, with Zoom, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it through it, but for some reason, like when I follow the tutorial, the buttons that are supposed to be here aren't on my setup for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, no shit. Huh.
So I just got to call them and figure it out. Anyways, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We appreciate you being here. I love you very much, and we're excited to be here. It's been too long, man. We got to start trying to do these more often, but I mean,
yes,
we got busy lives, and it's tough to get together. But I definitely want to start doing it. I'm feeling called to do more content with other people, not so much just me talking to the camera, which I enjoy doing. It's just I don't get excited about it anymore. I get excited to do these shows. I get excited to talk to other creators and other people that are in this community and doing things in the spiritual or healing or consciousness world, and that's what's exciting me. So I think I want to pursue that a little bit more, and I think it brings more. It brings another perspective. It's not just me talking. You know what I mean? It's got other people,
right,
other ideas. And
dialogue. I like it too. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that's
yes, and I love people too. I want to say I love you guys too. Ding, 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 boo.
I love you.
So yeah,
you.
Yep, you. Yeah, but he was talking about earlier. You're now, which I don't know, since the last time we had done a show, I don't think you were a certified reconnective healing practitioner then, where you can actually do reconnective healing or the reconnection. I mean,
right.
Which is like a step above. That's a whole other deal.
Yeah.
So congrats on that, homie.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you had to go to Mount Shasta or what?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? What was Eric Pearl there, or tell us?
No. No, Dr. Pearl doesn't really teach the reconnection anymore. He just focuses on the reconnective healing. Excuse me, the reconnective healing seminars. So he and Jillian teach that, and then he's got a handful of instructors that he trusts to teach the reconnection.
I see.
The only one that was advertised for this year was in this country. It was in Mount Shasta in April.
I was gonna say it's been a while since it's been in the United States.
Yeah.
Wasn't it in other countries?
Yeah, they're in all kinds of different countries.
No, I'm talking about to do the final training for the reconnection. Wasn't that like out of the United States there for a while, or?
No, I mean they always have one. They've always had one in Mount Shasta.
Oh, okay.
The woman up there, her name's Lou. She lives there, and she teaches a course at least once or twice a year. It's been a little different since the whole pandemic thing, but I think this was her first or second class that she's done since everything happened. And it was really nice. It was really nice. She had a beautiful house out there, and it was like right at you could just see Mount Shasta right there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller setting. You know, when you go for the reconnective healing training, it was like 200 people, 160 to 200 people all
Uh-huh.
bringing in these frequencies. And when I went there and experienced that weekend and was like, I was already practicing and offering healing sessions at the time, but that was like the certification. And then that was the first time being in that group of people with that many people accessing a freak. Oh my God, dude, that was like
Yeah,
magical.
I'd
And
imagine. Yeah.
I got back from that, and the most interesting thing to me was I was staying at my brother's house. My brother has a Siamese cat who it does not like anyone but my brother,
Uh,
nobody. And I lived there for a while, and that cat wouldn't let me come close to her, not even a little bit. Like even if I got like too close, she would hiss or swat at my hand or something. And she did not want me to be around. She didn't have a problem with me, but she didn't want me touching her. Um,
yeah.
so I went to this training, and when I came back, I went in and sat down on my bed, and right after I sat down, this cat jumped right into my lap, and it was like, wanting attention when this cat wouldn't let me touch her at all. It would never come close to me. It wouldn't even come in my room. Like she just nothing to do with me. And now the
Yeah.
cat
Yeah.
jumped into me, and it's funny. I'm bringing it up because I heard I don't know if it was Cryon I was listening to the other day or someone. It was a channel message talking about how animals can feel the alignment of a human being. It's not so much if you
Oh,
know
yes,
that you're
dude.
like they know when you're afraid of them and they react that way. You know what I mean? And they know when you're balanced and they are attracted to that.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
certain frequencies. I think certain frequencies that we get into, that we move into, are harmonic with, uh, nature and certain things. Remember when you had that fly that was just
yeah,
that dude was just like chilling? Well, right around that time, I was going through the same, or I was on that certain kind of a frequency where I felt like I was in harmony with the trees and I mean, I literally with the elementals and all kinds of shit, man. I was really feeling that connection. I mean, like we were talking with. I felt like I was talking to the animals and the trees and everything. I really felt that, and I and the animals would come up like squirrels, ducks, rabbits, everything would come up to me and Kim. I mean, we could feed them right out. It was crazy. It was just so crazy how, like you said, for whatever reason, I don't know. It's like when you go swimming in the ocean, fish don't recognize you. They just sort of treat you like another fish. And I don't know why, how you don't send off that fear like you do in animals out here and like on earth, or, outside the water. I mean,
mm,
but it was like that. It was like you're swimming with they don't even know that you're a human, man. They just come up and it was cool over there. It was like that for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months through that
mm.
summer. I think it was last summer. Yeah, even fish. Remember, Kim had the
Yeah,
fish
that's
coming
what I
up
was getting
to
ready to say.
her. Yeah, she's sticking her hand and they were coming to her. It was the craziest shit, man. It was so crazy. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
man, it's cool when you get into that. You know what I mean? Where you're literally, what nature's saying. I mean, you can hear it telling you what it needs, man. It's so cool, so cool.
it
I mean,
is.
it makes you happy to be a tree hugger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because there's something to that. There's, you
absolutely.
know, I think you could really. I remember when I was a kid, I used to do it. I would sit and lean up against the tree and especially if you're barefooted, man, you get energy, you pick up vibes, you ground out. You really take in. I don't know what it is, but it's like something that you need. It's almost like drinking water.
Yeah,
It's you really pick it up. You
that's
really
how
pick it
much
up.
you
It's something we
fucking
really do
need it.
need.
You need it just as much as
Yeah,
you need
and we've
water.
literally lost that connection. We've
Yeah,
lost that connection. That harmonic connection with nature itself.
yeah,
But
and
like
it's
you were
just
talking
just
about, the reconnection
physically.
itself kind of create that reconnection. Sort of creates that connection. That especially when you first get in that energy. I think when it first um, because you stay in the belief system, man. I'm telling you, you have to allow yourself to see what you think you see instead of dismiss it with logic. You have to say, wait a minute, I think I did just see so. You know what I mean? Don't dismiss it. Don't anything that's like seems magical or so. Take note of it. The more that you do, the more you say, hey, that's possible that you'll see something else. Then you'll see something else, and you allow yourself to see things that you otherwise never ever catch, man. You never catch these things.
It's interesting when you allow your belief system to expand, your perception of these things expands as well. It's literally like you get another percentage or get to see another percentage of reality.
Yeah.
Like just by because the belief systems, the BS that we are ascribed to in our lives keeps us in a box, keeps us in this little tiny box. And once you start breaking down the walls or opening the door or lifting a window, then you start to increase your perception of the whatever it is, supernatural, elemental, spirits, nature. Nature's the big thing. I mean, you really need to get grounded. I've been so called to doing this recently, and I've the first time I ever did it, when I went outside in the bare feet with an intention to connect with Gaia, with Mother Earth, and I put my feet in the ground and I just said to I forget what I said. I said something like, Gaia, welcome home. And this rush of energy came up from my feet all over my body. It was like, and it was a very powerful thing. And I think this was before my reconnection. It was before, because I was still in Pennsylvania. This was everything was starting to snowball really quickly for me when I started dropping those
walls.
beliefs.
Yeah, because you feel, and that's the funny thing is you kind of feel, you don't want to talk about it. You feel kind of dumb for thinking that way because you've been taught that you're dumb for thinking that way. You're taught this is the way it is. And a lot of people don't even realize that everything, our reality is based on what we consciously focus on. If we are constantly logically locked into this one reality that's like with no possibilities of anything else, that's what we're creating. We're creating all this anyway. So it's all our creation. So the minute you expand and you open your palette of colors, you open, you expand, you go, tell us where your telescopic lens, and then you go to a wide angle lens. Now there's more in the picture. There's more things going down. And what happens is now you know that, wow, this whole time this stuff was been here, and so what else is there? So you want you want more of a wider vision. Now you want more of a wider scope, and you just open it up and you start to see more and you start to see more and you start to realize that this is my reality, man. You know what I mean? I can take this thing any fucking place I want to take it because it's really going there. Because you allow yourself to go there, and then you see it and you're like, wow, like I say, some of the stuff that's happened to me, man, has been some shit and some of the things I can prove my numbers like that, the reconnection. There's no way you can just deny those numbers. Those numbers are mind-boggling. That's mind-boggling, dude. If you go back to my video and look at everything equals 9 from what day it was to what week it was to what month, just everything. It all to the room, everything. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But anyway, so that's, to me, that's where I literally have some kind, because I'm a numbers guy and I'm a analytical, so that's the proof. I can see, there's literal, because the odds of that happening are just astronomical. It's not going to happen. So something's going on. Something is telling me, dude, what the hell you thought was going on is going on, because shit is going on. Here's your proof. Look at these numbers. Look at this. Shit is really going down. So, no matter how far I get away from it, at least I can fall back on that, because sometimes I still go back and I'm like, And some of the things that happened, like I got so caught up that I was like, I seen entities and I seen spark lights, I seen little, I don't know what they were, but other things. I seen other things, and literally I seen them. I know I seen them, and I don't care what anybody says. I know what I seen, and and that's because I was in that space, man. I was in that allowing, and it's cool. It's cool, but you can real quickly start being logical again, get back into life, start, and next thing you know, you're, losing, you can't see the crazy shit anymore. You have to literally get yourself back into that. It's work, you can get yourself back there. But like I say, man, when it's rolling, man, let it roll. When it's going, let it go and just see where it goes.
Yeah. And
Crazy stuff happens.
those experiences you have, if you have an experience, will define you in a way.
Yeah.
That experience that you had caused you to do all this research because you knew what you saw. No one can
Yeah.
tell you any different. You knew it. You knew
Yeah.
it wasn't a hallucination or so. It was real, and what you saw was like, you know what I mean? Like, and that has
Yeah.
drawn you down this path of research and study, and now a degree in metaphysical, whatever.
Science. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's really just been over 2 or 3 years. Like
Yeah.
that's
It's definitely, it's, it's changed my life. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
And it's funny because how the reconnect, I don't know, and that's what we was talking about. We was going to talk about the reconnection because you got certified, but how that happened and how I went down that path is so strange. But like I say, the numbers don't lie. That's how we became friends, and that's how Ed and Sherry, and that's how Africa, which was the person who, and I've got this web of people, and then Mark and April in the Carolina. It's like there's this web of people that I'm already, and you guys are connected to other people, and we're connected. There's this connection, this reconnection. I keep saying is more than it's, dude. We all came from somewhere, agreed to hook up and connect back, and we just haven't all figured it out yet. There hasn't been that person that's gathering up all the chickens, or whatever, and getting us all in together and seeing what we can do now. Now that we're all part of this same thing, which is called the reconnection. Nobody has orchestrated that yet. There's nobody, puppet master who knows what could happen if you take all those people who've been reconnected and steer that energy into something, like I remember the first time Case done the distance session, dude. I think you got in on that thing. I got sucked in, like, because it takes me when I meditate. You know how you'll go through the tunnel, like, or whatever. There's all these clouds and colors and blah blah. Well, you got to meditate. It takes me about 10 minutes or so before I get to that. It's always just dark. And then all of a sudden I'll see purple come in, clouds, and then green clouds, and all of a sudden there will be a black tube, and then I start moving through it. I don't know what's happening, but that's what goes on with me. Well, anyway, with him, dude, the minute I laid down, boom, I was in that fucking purple thing. And instead of going this way, I was going that way, like jet fast. It was crazy. But it was like so many people joined in. And I think the excitement of everybody doing it together or whatever it was created this freaking vortex of energy, dude. That was like, the other times that I've done it, because I've done a few other ones with it, it wasn't nothing like that. It wasn't that immediate, like just got sucked in, just bam, that fucking fast, man. It was bad as that. It was bad. But and I was going to talk about another thing. Remember when we all got together, Ed, Sherry, me, you, Kim, and we was doing that? Those, when we was focusing on each one of us, was focusing on each person. You guys, each one of you had colors, your own colors. Man, I told you all your colors. It was bad as hell, dude. But
I forgot
yeah,
about
when
that.
I see that, and I'm going through it, I'm sitting there. It's funny because I always think that it has to do with breathing. So I find myself going to start about damn near hyperventilating because I'm thinking the more I breathe, the faster I go through this tube. I think I'm going to come out into something. I always think I'm going to come out into a room or a place, but I never do. I just keep going through this hole.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know what we was talking about, but there I
It was interesting though. That's Oh, the crux of this video is what we want to talk about is being the personal reconnection practitioner now that I can facilitate the personal reconnection. And I really wanted to talk about what the difference is between a regular reconnective healing session, a distance session, and the reconnection, because that's two very different animals there. And for 2 years, I've been a practitioner of just the reconnective healing. I haven't done any reconnections, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they, felt like they were reconnected through doing distance sessions or multiple in-person sessions or whatnot. And, I started questioning it. I'm like, what am I really reconnecting them? And to a
yeah,
degree, yeah, absolutely. But not, I don't think, like this okay, for example, I have this friend slash client that I've done 7 or 8 reconnective healing sessions over the last year, right?
right,
We do it at least once a month. At first it was like 3 in the first month, and then she chilled out and just kind of let that settle in, which is generally what you recommend for someone to do 2 to 4 sessions, depending how it feels, and then let that kind of unfold in your life. And then now it's just kind of like a monthly tune-up. And so I did her personal reconnection when I got back from Mount Shasta, and everything started changing in her life in a dramatic way, like right away, like immediately, like right after the second day, that second session, just everything that's no longer serving is just kind of falling away. You know what I mean? Just rapidly, without effort.
right,
If it's not serving a purpose in your life, it's gonna go away. I mean, that's pretty much how it works. And she really didn't know anything about what the personal reconnection was. I was like, hey, I learned this new thing. Do you want to do it? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, cool. By the way, this is kind of what it is, just so you know.
right.
But she loves the energy work, and everyone that would kind of be my biggest thing. So from what I've seen, I think, and everybody's going to be a little bit different, but it's really just follow your heart, what you're called to do. If you feel drawn to these frequencies, then you can contact me for a distance session, or find a practitioner near you, or whatever works best for you. But I would follow your heart, follow your gut. Because the personal reconnection, I don't think is for everybody, because it's really going to set you on your life's path in a quick fashion. If you're in toxic
Right.
relationships and you do a personal reconnection, those relationships are going to probably go away pretty quickly. In my experience, that's what happened to me, and I've seen that happen with a lot of other people. But anyways, um,
Right.
so the difference between a reconnective healing session and the personal reconnection. The personal reconnection is done in 2 sessions that have to be like back to back. And, you do one session and have at least one sleep cycle before you have the next session. And then it's a very precise um, application of these healing frequencies. And it's interesting. Even the experiences of the clients that I've had that did the regular reconnective healing sessions with me, their experiences during the sessions are usually pretty similar with the reconnective healing. Their normal sessions are pretty similar. They get colors, they might get a vision, or see something. Well, when we did their reconnection, they both had the same experience that I had, where they had this really bright white light above their head the entire time, like literally like up here. That's mine was like right here. It was like I could see it out of the corner of my left eye, right above my head, and it was like this super bright white light.
Uh-huh.
And it was funny. The other person that I did the reconnection facilitated it for, the second session, when she came back for the second session, she was like, "Oh, I forgot to bring my sunglasses." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Yeah, for that bright light I keep seeing." She's like, "It's a blinding bright light." I was like, "No way!"
Oh
Like
shit.
I had the same thing with mine.
Yeah.
And then the difference is, oh man, I'm getting pretty deep into it here. But what what was your experience like of, because you did distance session, you had the distance session, you were talking about being like through the tunnel, going through that
Right.
tunnel with the colors and all the different things. Um, so what was your experience between that and having the reconnection facilitated?
Probably the reconnection, with Case. Um, I felt like, I don't know, there was something going on with my arm and shoulder. I was like some kind of twitching. My other arm was kind of tapping up and down. And when he first started, when he was up around my head, like I could feel my face kind of twitching around, and my just around my, right here. And then I felt my eyes do some twitching, and it was like trying to think of like I got this nerve. I don't know what it is, but sometimes right here on my arm, this thing will just sit there and just,
Hmm.
I'll look at it and it's just bouncing up and down. It's like a little nerve thing. I don't know what, you ever get one of those,
Hmm.
or maybe on your hand or somewhere, just like, and you can look at it and see it, doing. It seems like to me where happens where you get a. Have you ever got a Charlie horse? Somebody took and
No,
knuckled you,
yeah.
and that thing raises up. Well, it's something like, it's kind of like a nerve ending feeling, or it's like my nerves or my like so to me, I felt like there was this current, maybe like there was some kind of current moving through that, which that's they're talking about the frequency or whatever. And if you're receptive to it, I think it starts off with being called towards it. I think that's the very first thing, is that you stumble into it and you're like, you may see a video, like you might see this video, and then um, 3 months later, some reason something happens, and they pop up again, and it's like a synchronistic thing. It's like it just happens. It seems like it's a coincidence at first, but then you're like, well, that's more than a coincidence. It's like a synchronicity. Or maybe you watch Case's video about synchronicities, then you see us again, or but all of a sudden these things start to line up, and your mind starts to think, damn, what's going on here? Why does this pop up on me? Is this, and then you see something else and you resonate with it. And then you click on another thing and you're like, damn, this is calling me. I feel like this like is talking to me, or this is like, I just feel like this is right for me, or I feel like this is something, it's almost like diets or whatever, and healing is like diets, man. There's 1,000 types of healing out there. And a lot of the healing, I talked about the book from Joseph Murphy, The Power of Belief, and that's, you know when you first look at healing as in a big giant scope, it's the person that believes that they're going to be healed, um, that sets the energy in motion for the practitioner. It's like they open up something for you to get in there. Like it's kind of like they open themselves up, and you're going to be the surgeon, go in and work on whatever. But they have to be open to that. Um, they have to believe that it's going to happen. They have to believe. You have to believe. Even if you were doing if you were fighting cancer, you can't win unless you believe. You have to believe. And if you're trying and you just think belief ain't enough, but you do believe somebody could help you, and you're being called to that person, and you're seeing videos, and you believe and you feel like this guy can do it, dude, that's hello, that's the telephone ringing. This is the guy. Because it's just like, you could probably find your way from Indiana to California or whatever, but without a map or a guide or somebody to show you the way. You know what I mean? Somebody to take you there and help you get what you need. That's what the practitioner does. You're being called towards it. It could be Jesus. It could be reconnection. It could be QHHT. It could be other types of energy. It could be Reiki. but you feel this pull, you feel this, like, it just speaks to you. And if it's the reconnective healing or a reconnection, then you know that people do it, they feel, I was called to it. The numbers kept, everything happened like just like it was supposed to, dude. Just like I knew it was going, what it was going to do. It's just like, as soon as I seen that dude, like the second or third video, it's almost like I knew that the connection was something in my own mind. I said, this dude's going to reconnect me. It was so funny because I made a video with him where me and him was talking, and I'm telling him that, because he's down in like Cancun. I don't know where he's at, not Cancun, but Central America somewhere, living in, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get down there because I don't think I can get a passport, but this dude's going to do my reconnection. And lo and behold, September, man, the next year, just a year later, it was like, damn, it's so crazy how that shit went down. But I knew I was going to do it. I knew I had to do it. It was just something that I knew. I don't know. When I went there, I was definitely, I'm not going to lie to you, I was expecting crazy shit. I was expecting some of the stuff he said to happen that he's seen his life before and I was expecting more. I really was. Like, I was wanting to feel and be all freaked out, and leave there with like this real, but what freaked me out is when I came home and I started doing the math on everything. Like I say, you look at that video, dude, I can verify, all those numbers can be verified and they all equal 9. It's insane. From the mileage to the room, to the date, to the day, to the week, to the month, to the, you name it. Stinking nuts, man. Yeah. So it was just, when if you doubt it, don't fuck with it, or excuse my language. If you doubt it, don't mess with it. You know what I mean? If you feel it, go for it.
I mean, if you doubt it, I wouldn't say don't mess with it. If you doubt it, that means you're at least interested enough to look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you doubt it, I wouldn't, because the sessions really do depend on your openness to receive it. So if you have a doubt that it's not real, but you're still actually open to it, if it is possible, if you have that wondering, that thirst for possibility, then it could happen. I would still recommend giving it a try or doing a distance session. Distance sessions are phenomenal. It changed my life because you don't have to be in the room with them. You don't have to be, the first session I had with me was a distance session, and that was the most profound session I've ever had. That's the most experience. You know what I mean? I had all the colors, I had visions, I felt presences around me of things that were not there in physical form. I had a hell of an experience. But I didn't have those experiences when I had in-person sessions. Now I've had some interesting experiences and some very interesting experiences, but not that.
Right.
And it's just,
and I'll tell you some of the reason I think why is because when you're in person, you don't, like, your energy, you're bouncing off that person, right? But when you're not in person, you're allowing your energetic, your astral self to travel. You allow yourself to move into a light, more of a light being. You're more, you leave this here, all this meat suit. When you're sitting there with a guy, you're still sort of in that meat suit energy. But when you're doing distance, it feels like, to me, you kind of like, you really, really allow yourself to go. And that's how you maybe, because I know that I've had distance sessions with you, with Case. I haven't done any. I don't know. Yeah, I did do you. Yep. And remember that night we'd done each other? That was crazy. That was crazy. That was good, man. Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I think you probably had that experience, because you were like going for it. You was after it, going for it. You know what I mean? It was like in the very beginning, man, when it first starts happening, your mind's so blown that you really literally just go ahead and allow yourself to believe. You just like, God, this is really happening. There's something else happens. You're like, oh my God. And then you're laughing at shit. And animals are coming up to you and flies are talking to you. And you're like, you're just like, you wouldn't believe what happened today. And you're telling each other, these stories that fucking people would think we're nuts, you know what I mean? But we know it's real because we're both like experiencing the same kind of shit, You're like, lights are coming out of my hands, man. Lights are coming out of my hands, And I know what you mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I've had my hands like, I wasn't even gonna do sessions. I had with that dude, my buddy that died. I went in the bathroom and this thing came over to me to do the healing session on him, and man, that shit came out. It was like, it was like big old cords coming out. It was like, so much power. It was like so. Oh, it was so crazy, man.
Yeah.
I done it with that squirrel. For some reason, that squirrel was dying. And it was like this voice was telling me to, so I just started, and it was like, wah, 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 like the night that I did that with you. Because you did me first, right? And then remember, later on, man, I was sitting there, and because I was trying too hard, and I couldn't send it to you. I was like, I'm sitting there just like grunting, I'm trying. And I remember you told me, back off, don't try so hard. So about 10 minutes in, I backed off. And all of a sudden, man, my hands started.
Yeah. And it was just like a wall of energy, just like fell right on me. And I was like, oh, there it is. There it is.
I know, that shit was cool, man. That's why people should probably try a session of a distance sessions first, see if you feel it. Because if you feel it, then you're like, you get locked in. You're like, because it's happening to your own body. I mean, who's making that happen?
And when you're doing it, when you have a distance session, you should be by yourself in a room without distractions, without any other people around. You don't want anyone else's energy there, at least for your first time. If you've had multiple sessions, you can lay next to someone and have a session. That it really doesn't matter at that point, but you're just contending with another energy body. So be alone. Lay down, relax, or sit down, relax, whatever is more comfortable for you. Close your eyes, allow yourself to have that experience, that conscious experience, and just be open to whatever may happen, because healing can come in any form. And I think Dr. Pearl always says, if you're lucky, it'll come in a form that you've never even imagined. You'll get something so spectacular, something that you couldn't even fathom thinking is the form it's going to come in. The universe knows what you need, and they know, what you're ready for and what you can handle. So that's what I tell my clients. Like, lay back, lay down, close your eyes, put your attention on your body, pay attention to any sensations or feelings that you may have. Just relax and
just be
allow
open.
the experience to happen.
And
rise the wave until it's done. Because with my session, I did a 15-minute session, and it lasted for an hour. And I actually stopped it because I had to get up. I had to use the bathroom. It was laying there for an hour. It was like, and I could have actually, I think I laid back down and went right back into the session. It was still going on.
Wow.
And that still happens now. Like, I do distance sessions with people. Like, we just exchange sessions randomly. Once
being open, I think, is number one. That's what because I've only done a few, and I can be doing sessions. I don't know why I'm not being pulled towards it right now. I know I will later, but because I feel it in my hands, and the people that I try to, like, I've done Kim 2 times. I've done my buddy. I've done like 4 or 5 sessions, and I get registers. They feel it. They have experiences, and but what I always tell them, and what I would tell anybody is, because there's been a few people that I wanted to have sessions with that won't do it, and I'm just, and I'm like, man, all you got to do, I ain't asking you to do, all you just got to be open, like one of them's my sons, and it's like, he's like, no, he goes, no, because I just know I want to think it's full of shit. He's like, no, I just can't, I won't believe it. I can't believe in it. I said, I'm not asking you to believe in it. I'm not asking you to think it's real. I'm not asking none of that. I'm just asking you to be open that something may or may not. That's the only space I want you to get in. Not that it's not going to happen and not that it is going to happen, but that there's a possibility that something could happen and that you're just going to lay there with a clear blank slate and just be aware if anything does happen. Don't tell yourself nothing's happening. Don't tell yourself something is happening. Just be, I know that's hard to ask somebody to go into anything with an open mind, especially these days. Open-mindedness is one of the rare things on this planet. But, ask him just to somehow, if you can possibly just keep an open mind. You know what I mean? Just keep an open mind, man. I mean, it's not so hard to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was telling you earlier. Like that, you just can't, it's frustrating because it's like you see people in situations or you see that they're not in balance. You see that that this just one of these sessions could dramatically change their lives and they're not open to it. And it's frustrating because I've said it to people and they were like, yeah, awesome, let's do it. I want to do it. And then I literally had someone here yesterday. I was like, well, since you're here, let's just do a 10-minute session real quick. And this person's had a lot of stuff happen in their life and it's been a rough many months. And like I just feel like, and I know it because I've experienced it and I've seen it in probably 100 people's lives by now, that it will change your life. All you gotta do is be open, but you can't make somebody be open.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
You can't force it on anybody.
To me, a lot of people don't have a lot to lose. It's like, in some situations, what have you got to lose?
Really. Worst case scenario, you lay down and relax for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody can use that. We're all overstressed and under-rested. I guarantee it.
Yep.
That was I got the chills. I love it, man. I love this energy. There's really no limits. The only limits that we put on it are in our minds. I truly believe that these energies could either heal or help to heal or help to lead you to the healing. There's like no limit to them in my mind, and I use it for everything. I use it at work. If I can't think of something, I just start pulling the frequencies through, and I'll just kind of clear my mind and play with the energy. And oftentimes I'll get the answer afterwards. And that's another thing too. Like BoneZee's not certified to do these sessions with people, but you do it and you learn it, and you can help everyone around you. You can help all of your family. You can help animals. You can help nature. It's a powerful thing to have the ability to do it, and everybody has the ability. Everyone, you just got to believe it. Anyone can learn it. I can teach anyone how to do it in a very short period of time.
Yeah. It's and actually energy healing has been around forever. Reconnective healing is just a new, well, like they said, they've tested there's that we're in a new frequencies because of, and the shamanic frequency is different, everything, the people's frequency is different. So it's like there's this new access. It's like and it's a new frequency. I mean, quite frankly, and it's
it is.
I don't know. It's to me, it's something that's just either obvious to you or it isn't. It's just something that you either pulled to or you're not. And I think that everybody that's pulled to it, I think that I still, I don't know when and where and how. I still think that it's all going to come together. Like we're all connected to each other somehow. We don't even know it. Like, Bob over in San Francisco and Jan in New York and, somebody in Chicago, all these people, we're tied together now.
Yeah.
We don't know it. It'll come, maybe when the zombie apocalypse happens, we'll be the only ones walking around who got our shit together. We'll find each other. I don't know, but it just seems like that there's a bigger picture in this whole deal. Because the logical side of me, I always argue that, I got caught up in something or other, and then there's the evidence. I go back to the evidence. I go back to the numbers. I go back to the proof. I go back to my videos and the way shit was happening to me, even the way I looked, there's just too much, man. Too much, way too much. It was, it's something, if you're getting pulled to it, man, it's magic. Go, roll with it, run with it.
It is. And I'm going to have to create an introduction for this video, but I have a temporary website up in place right now where you can get a custom quote for a session. So basically you go to my website. I know there's a link below. It's Energy Healing with Alan or Healing with Alan, something like that, but you'll see it. So basically you go on there and you just put in your information, your name, email, phone number, and what kind of session are you looking for? Reconnective healing, or the personal reconnection, or a remote or distance session. You can put all that stuff down. You can ask me a question or provide any further information. So if you do that, I'll definitely get back with you and we'll figure out time, date, what service you want, and what the cost of it will be. I'm doing it this way for now because I think when I just put $150 down for a distance session, that a lot of people will shy away from it. You know what I mean? But I was thinking that, my first session was a 15-minute session because that's what I could afford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I wanted it so bad. And that's another thing. If you want it, you'll find a way. But I don't want to discourage people, and I don't want to undervalue my worth either. So, you know what I mean? Like, I did that a lot before, and discounting a product or service doesn't make it more appealing to people. But what I don't want to do is put it out of limits for someone that might really want it. So get a custom quote. You can talk to me directly and we'll figure out what's appropriate. So just go and do that.
Yeah, and congratulations on that. That's a heck of an accomplishment, man.
Yeah, man.
There's not a lot of people who can do reconnections.
No, there's really not.
A handful of people in the country.
Yeah. There's I think there's 2 people in Maryland, maybe 3 in this whole state that can facilitate a reconnection, and only one of them is active as far as I could tell, and that's the person that did my certification. Who was I don't know if you follow the reconnection, if you ever got into it, but have you heard the name Joan Fowler?
No.
Yeah.
Do they have a website, or a YouTube channel, or?
I don't know if she has a YouTube channel, but she's got a website. She does the healing work full time, and she actually, I didn't meet her, but she was one of the presenters when I was there at Palm Springs when I went to the first one. So I knew who she was, and I'd seen her on YouTube before, because she had a near-death experience that she talks about. Or speak, she speaks with. I saw her at a thing with Dr. Pearl, and he talked about a near-death experience, and she was talking about one as well.
Oh yeah. I seen that.
Yeah, she was the one that introduced him.
Was he talking about his moms? Wasn't he talking about his moms or whatever?
Yeah, when she was giving birth to him.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, he's a very interesting guy.
He is. He really is. He's
my brother.
Yeah. That's a good episode right there.
Yes, sir.
Right at 50 minutes. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you're still watching, leave a comment. Just say still watching.
Still watching,
mofos. Still watching. And we
good
love
people.
you. We love you so much.
Yep.
So if you are still watching, the few people there that are left, before this show started, I pulled a card. I'll share it with you. It's a really
look at this boy. Is that Horus or Osiris? Who is that?
The Eye of Horus.
Ah,
Yeah.
I have Horus.
Awakening Divine Perception. And the
Nice.
next card that came out was the Wings of Isis.
Nice.
And this is uniting with the angelic self. Awakening your divine perception and awakening to your angelic self. Aligning with that inner being, that God self of you is where
Exactly.
we're at right now. And more people are waking up every day. I love it.
Yep. It's an
All right,
epidemic.
everybody. Is what?
There's a lot of people going, and there's a lot of people going into deeper sleep too. There's
Yeah.
a lot of waking up, but golly, boy, I'll tell you what, if I've seen people going deep sleep,
Yeah.
man.
It's interesting. I had this guy at work that's so he was like me in the beginning. He's so angry and he wants to tell everybody about how much of a sheep they are. You know what I mean? That kind of guy. And he's
Yeah.
preparing and he's in the fear consciousness so deep. And he's finally asking me why and how I'm happy. And because I know all this stuff, I know everything that he's talking about. I know it thoroughly, in depth. I've
Yeah.
studied it and researched it for a long time. And I was him. I was the one walking down the street yelling at people, like, how do you not know or how do you not care? Like, what is the matter with you? Like, I'm just beating people in the head with my beliefs, getting nowhere, wasting my energy, and just slowly killing myself. So I've been hoping that he would actually come to me. For I've been there for a year and a half, and the people that are there that are still there, um, they all know what I do now. You know, everybody, mechanics, everybody knows. So
Yeah.
they see that I'm happy every day. You know what I mean? I just enjoy my life. I love my life. Life is my favorite adventure. And and he just keeps asking me, he's like, why are you so happy? Give me some of that happy. I'm like, you're not ready for the happy yet, dude. You're still on the other side. Like, as
Yeah.
hard as you work to be that angry, that's how hard I work to be happy every day.
Yeah.
Every day
Yeah.
I wake up and consciously put effort into being excited about my day.
You have to.
You just don't wake up and be happy overnight. You don't go from that to where I'm at overnight. Like, so I'm
You
thinking
have to
about
unplug. You got to unplug from a lot of different things one at a
yes.
time. It'll change your reality. You're still in the same reality with all these other people, and you're weaving in and out of them, but your reality is different. It's just like it's not interdependent on the same things that they are. And it's almost like people, for some reason, a lot of people really feel like they need to watch news and feel like they need to be geared up and battle for the water or the water fountain arguments. Used to be water fountain conversations. Now it's water fountain arguments. And they go and they watch this shit. This side over here, they've got their guns loaded now because the morning they gave them all these topics to talk about and probably kids in cages or whatever. And this side over here is talking whatever and prayer in school. They come to the table and they're programmed to talk about certain things on certain days, and that's what they talk about. And I'm not plugged into that shit, man. I'm not plugged into any of it. I have no idea what any of them are talking about. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. I don't want to know nothing about it. You guys are ain't in it. I'm not. That's not my reality. I'm not in. Man, we're going to talk about the bark on this tree right here. What kind of tree this is, and these leaves. Some shit that's simple, that's dumb, that you're going to find completely stupid. Fishing, whatever, just cool, whatever shit that's not going to agitate, make me angry, going to make me sad, depressed. I ain't doing any of that. I'm not doing it. I don't have to. It's not. People actually, literally, their jaws drop when you tell them that you don't have to do this, you don't have to be this way, you don't have to be angry, you don't have to be on one side or the other. They think if you ain't on one side of you're letting your country go to hell, dude. It's the same dudes. They just you think there's two sides. Stupid. If one side, if they would have snuffed them dudes out if they were really that powerful. They're all the same people. It just looks like they're wearing different color shirts or different colored hats or waving different kind of flags or saying they're this or that. same shit, bro. Just don't, I ain't in it. I don't do it. But like you said, that's how you stay happy. You unplug from prosperity consciousness. You don't want to get involved in that, keeping up with the Joneses, and I got to have a pool, I got to have a jet ski, I got to have, I mean, those things are nice, but only if you really, really want them, not if you're trying to
like
be, there's so much pressure these days of,
right.
Facebook selfies and,
and I wouldn't say unplug from prosperity consciousness, because if you want that stuff, but don't do it for someone else, or don't do it to be better than someone, because I'm absolutely in the prosperity consciousness, but it's because I want it. And I'm not a very materialistic person, but I like prosperity. I like abundance.
That's where you're at right now. That's where you're at right now. A year ago, whatever. You didn't have
a year ago, I was pretty much homeless. So, I mean, but I still had a prosperity consciousness. I had everything I needed.
I remember when you said, skip this shit, you sold everything. You had silver and guns and all your, you was, like you said, the prepping dude. You was one of them prepping.
Yeah.
He was like, man, why am I thinking like this? You're thinking the end or the bad time, or, no, live here now, be here now, be happy. You can be happy. If you be here now, right now, and you're happy now, chances are, if you do that every day, you're going to be happy in the future. So focus on being happy here now, and now that you're at, but I know you're probably putting money, tucking it in the mattress, and eventually in a year or two, you go on another hiatus for whatever, and you'll just split, take off and do whatever you want to do, if that's what you so choose to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not that far off the mark there, buddy.
You will. I know you will. Whatever you're called to do, you'll follow you're gonna go with the flow. You flowed into that, like all the synchronicities lined up on that job, the address, everything from the address to the day that you got the job, to just like all of your flights going out, everything was equal 5 or whatever it was that had to do. And you're doing the same thing I'm doing. You're just following. If you see a sign and it keeps coming, just like we was talking about, you turn this video on, you're like, why am I seeing these dudes? Why am I hearing about the reconnection? And then it happens again a month later. You start following the signs, man. You start following these things because they're going to lead you. I'm telling you, everything's about the little breadcrumbs. They're everywhere.
Yes.
We just don't see them. They're there, and it'll lead you to happiness. Anything that makes you happy, keep following the joy, and keep following that magic, that happiness, and skip the shit that pulls you down into this. If it, like you said, if it don't serve you, man, you got to kick it to the curb. Lighten the load. This is no time especially now, this is no time. You need to lighten the load and be ready to roll and do whatever and move with the groove and be happy. Just keep being happy.
That's it. That's all you got to do. The purpose of life is joyful expansion. I'm wholeheartedly convinced.
To create, yeah.
Joyful expansion of your soul. That's it. We're eternal spiritual beings living a temporary human existence in this body, to expand our eternal knowing and to have this experience that is palpable, that is exciting, that is full of contrast. In higher dimensional planes, you don't have a lot of contrast anymore. You're just all love. But when you step down into this physical form, now we're having experiences. We're having love and lust and passion and fear, excitement, and everything you can imagine. I mean, can you imagine that from a higher perspective, to look down, to see and have a human experience, how exhilarating that must be? Yeah. I mean, like, dude,
just more and more, all the colors to the palette,
Yeah. This is a magical existence, and enjoy your life to the fullest. Follow your highest excitement and be the change that you want to see in this world. We love you guys so much. Thank you for
Yes.
watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Be the best version of yourself. Just do it. And I'll tell you what, I want to say one thing real quick. When you give, I was thinking this the other day. People who give, whether you service other people or you give money or you help, but you somehow give, you get on this frequency, like if you're on the take, if you're always taking shit, that's when you turn around, somebody done got you they got you because you're the same way. That's the frequency you're in, is take. So people are take. When you get in that give frequency, that Tony Robbins is about this shit. You get in that frequency where there's other people who are higher up than you, but they're looking to give to somebody who deserves it. And they see you as that guy because you're so giving and you're that guy. So you get in that frequency of where you're giving to somebody who needs it. There's somebody out there looking who's got a little bit more than you, who's looking to give to a guy like you. So get in that frequency of giving and being of service and, being a good guy. It makes you happy too.
It does. It feels good to give. It really does. I mean, think about it at Christmas time. Are you more excited to buy someone a gift or to get a gift?
Right.
As an adult, I mean, a kid watching is probably going to be a lot more excited to get a gift. But as an adult, you thoroughly enjoy giving someone something more than you receive it. So
yeah,
think about it. But yeah, absolutely great point. Yes. Give, and treat yourself too. Take care of yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself. You got to start with yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Absolutely born perfect. Number one, and you are still perfect. Number two, and you're beautiful. 3. So.
Absolutely.
And unique. 1 in 7 billion. I can't ever get up to that.
No.
To me, 1 in 7 billion. I'm a numbers freak. When you're 1 in 7 billion, there's nothing 1 in 7 billion on this planet. That's it. Humans.
Except for you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you,
and me.
And you. I love it. Perfect way to end it.